Hello everyone, welcome to Biochem Chronicles by Dr. Santoshini. In today's class, we'll be focusing about what are amino acids and its classification. Mainly, we'll look into how the amino acid structure is, what are its functions, how the peptide bond is formed, and the classification of amino acids. So, in our body, we have enzymes, muscles, antibodies, hemoglobin, right? So, what are all of these made up of? They're all made up of proteins. But enzymes has a different function, like it catalyzes reactions. Antibodies will have a role in immunological function. All of these are proteins, but how different proteins have different functions. To understand that, we need to look into a Lego box. This Lego box has multiple colored pieces. So these pieces in different quantities and permutation combinations can create a house or a car or a castle. Similarly, in our body, we have 20 different types of amino acids. So, we'll be looking into detail of each of these amino acids in the future classes. These amino acids in permutation and combination will form the proteins. So, why should we know about these amino acids? These amino acids, as we already saw, are the building blocks of proteins. They are the important components of different hormones, which are the chemical messengers. The neurotransmitters such as your GABA, glutamate, they are all again amino acids, and your nucleotides and nucleic acids. So basically your DNA and genes need amino acids for its formation and energy source. So remember the process called gluconeogenesis, that is formation of your glucose during your fasting in your body. Again, amino acids plays an important role. So that is why we need to know about amino acids. So coming to the structure, remember the magic number 4. So as the name says, amino acid, it has a amino group, that is your NH2, and a acidic group, that is your carboxyl group, and other than that there is a hydrogen and a R group. It is a variable group, that is, this is what is changing from one amino acid to another, and it is important to determine the biological and the chemical properties of an amino acid. The carbon atom to which all these 4 different components are attached is known as the alpha carbon atom, and it is a chiral carbon atom. If your amino group is attached to the beta carbon atom, it is known as beta amino acid, example beta alanine, and these can also be seen in your body. So remember the 4 parts: the amino group, the acidic group, your hydrogen, and the variable R group. So coming to the peptide bonds, amino acids, though they have separate functions, they need to get combined to form biologically active peptides and proteins. So how was that formed? So 2 amino acids are combined by a condensation reaction. Okay. So the carboxyl group of amino acid 1 and the amino group of another amino acid with releasing of water, that is H2O, will form a bond known as peptide bond. Okay. So when 2 amino acids are combined, it is known as a dipeptide. It is a very strong bond. Why it is very strong? Because it is covalent in nature. So remember, generally covalent bonds are very strong bonds. So they are rigid, planar, and partial double bond in character. So you need to surely remember all of these when you talk about a peptide bond. Okay. So then moving on to the different peptides. So as we already saw, when 2 amino acids are combined, it is a dipeptide. When 3 are combined, it is tripeptide. And 2 to 10 amino acids, we call it oligopeptide. So when they have some biologically important function, they are called as biologically important peptides. So one example of a tripeptide is glutathione, which contains the amino acids glutamic acid, cysteine, and glycine. So they have a very important role in your antioxidant and detoxification. And here are some 9 amino acid containing peptides, which are your hormones such as oxytocin and vasopressin. So oxytocin has a role in your milk ejection, vasopressin regulates your water balance and your blood pressure. Okay. So when more than 10 amino acids are present, you call it a polypeptide, that is many. Poly means many. So many amino acids are present. So this is where your polypeptides form a protein by folding. So we initially saw the question, right? How different proteins have different function. So we told it's the different combinations. So what determines this combination of amino acids? So that is the center which has all your memory, your DNA. Okay, so your DNA has something known as a genetic code which will code for each of the different amino acids. So your genetic material will form an mRNA by the process known as transcription, which will get then translated to form a polypeptide, which will fold to form your final protein. So this different genetic codes has coding for different amino acids in different orders, which will ultimately form your final protein. Okay. So we initially saw that we have 20 amino acids, but recently we have found that there are additional amino acids such as selenocysteine and pyrrolysine, which is the 21 and 22nd amino acid. The selenocysteine is formed by a genetic code known as UGA codon, which is initially a stop codon which says stopping the formation of your proteins, but when there is a presence of an selenocysteine insertion sequence, it forms the amino acid selenocysteine, which also contains the mineral selenium, and it has important functions like in the enzyme glutathione peroxidase, which again has a role in your antioxidant, and the other enzymes like thioredoxin reductase and iodothyronine deiodinase, so your thyroid hormones. Okay. So this pyrrolysine is a 22nd amino acid which is coded by a codon known as UAG. So again it is also a stop codon, okay, and it is found in methanogenic archaea. So UGA is your selenocysteine and UAG is your pyrrolysine. So coming to the last part, classification of amino acids, again is the magic number 4. So you can broadly classify it into 4 types based on the chemical nature. Again R group we saw, no, it is important for the different properties. So then the polarity and charge, so are they whether hydrophilic or hydrophobic or positive or negatively charged, and nutritional requirement, that is whether you need to surely take it by diet or your body can produce, and are they broken down, the last one, into glucogenic or ketogenic products, that is your metabolic fate. So in the upcoming video we'll be looking into more detail of this. So with that we come to the end of this class. So before we end, let's see some of the important MCQs which are very important for your PG preparation exams as well as your university exams. So the first question is, the peptide bond is best described as, is it a hydrogen bond between two amino groups? No, right? So what is it between? A carboxyl group and an amino group. So it is a covalent amide bond formed by condensation between a amino and a carboxyl group. This is what we saw, right? A condensation between a amino and a carboxyl group. So the third option is an ionic bond responsible for protein folding. It is not an ionic bond. The fourth option is a disulfide bond formed between two cysteine residues. It is a disulfide bond? No. So what is the answer? A peptide bond. The answer B, covalent bond between the amino and carboxyl groups. So the next question is, the R group of an amino acid primarily determines its, R group is the variable group which we saw. Is it the peptide bond formation? Just now we saw it as amino and carboxyl. So obviously no. Is it the molecular weight? Again no. Chemical and biological properties. This is what we saw, right? So yes. And its ability to go transcription? Not at all. So the answer is C. R group is important for your chemical and biological properties. So the third question, the final question, which one of the following proteins contain the 21st amino acid selenocysteine? Is it the hemoglobin? No. Is it glutathione peroxidase, which has this antioxidant role? Yes. Is it the collagen? Again no. Is it albumin? And it's again no. So the answer is B. So that's all for today. So do not forget to like, share and subscribe for more videos. So the take home message are, we have 20 amino acids mainly, and newly 21st amino acid selenocysteine and the 22nd amino acid pyrrolysine. So the structure 4 parts, don't forget the amino group, the acidic group, the H and the variable R group. Then we moved on to looking into the different functions and how the proteins are formed from your DNA and the 4 classification, right? So you can scan this QR code which will contain your concise answer PDF, MCQs and a quick revision sheet. It is free, completely free, so you can see that. So until next time, where we'll be looking about classification of amino acids, keep reading and enjoy biochemistry.